There was a lot of criticism from Denmark, a lot of attacks at the Trump administration, at the president, at me, at others in our administration for saying the obvious, which is that Denmark hasn't done a good job at keeping Greenland safe.
The United States will not take control of Greenland, the island's new prime minister said on Sunday in response to Donald Trump's latest assertion that he wants to annex the territory. President Trump says that the United States will get Greenland. Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen, who was sworn in on Friday, said on social media, "Let me be clear, the United States will not get it. We do not belong to anyone else. We decide our own future." On Saturday, Trump said, "We'll get Greenland." Yeah, 100%. Denmark's foreign minister criticized the Trump administration for the way it has addressed Denmark and Greenland, emphasizing that Denmark is already bolstering Arctic security and remains open to further collaboration with the United States. In a video shared on social media, Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen responded to comments made during the Vice President JD Vance's visit to Greenland, a strategically significant island. However, later that day, Trump said that he does not rule out military action when it comes to acquiring Greenland. A lot of accusations have been made, and we are, of course, open to criticism, Rasmussen said in English, but to be completely honest, we do not appreciate the tone in which it is being delivered. This is not how you address close allies, and I still view Denmark and the United States as close allies, he said. Greenland, a Danish territory, is part of NATO alongside the US. Trump has expressed interest in acquiring the island, citing national security concerns. Greenland's location, offering the shortest route from North America to Europe, is seen as strategic for the US. It would give Washington leverage for its military and its ballistic missile early warning system. The US is also interested in placing radar in the waters that connect Greenland, Iceland, and the United Kingdom. These waters are a gateway for Russian and Chinese ships, which the US wants to track. Greenland is also rich in natural resources, including rare earth minerals, which are used for the manufacture of technology. Most of Greenland's population, though, of 56,000 residents, comprise indigenous Inuit people who oppose the mining of oil and gas. As the planet warms due to climate change, the vast untapped resources of the Arctic are becoming more accessible. Countries like the US, Canada, China, and Russia are now eyeing these resources. During his interview on Saturday, Trump acknowledged that a peaceful acquisition was possible, saying, "I think there's a good chance we could do it without military force." However, he also said, "I don't take anything off the table," emphasizing his broader security perspective. When asked what message such an approach might send to Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has been reinforcing control over Ukrainian territory following his 2022 invasion, Trump responded, "I don't care." Speaking at an Arctic policy forum on Thursday, Putin presented a more comprehensive case than any US official yet for Trump's plan to annex Greenland. As US influence in Europe declines, the Kremlin is taking the opportunity to push forward its long-standing vision of a multipolar world, where it exerts control over its sphere of influence, particularly in Ukraine and Belarus. Since his 2007 speech in Munich, Putin has consistently opposed US global dominance, and he now has an American president who shares his skepticism of the post-war international order. Greenland is as valuable to Putin as it is to Trump, and with Trump under his spell, Russia is having the US do its bidding. Putin's argument that nations should focus on their own affairs aligns with Trump's transactional approach to global politics. Both leaders are deeply distrustful of international institutions and alliances established after World War II. This skepticism extends to organizations such as the United Nations and the International Criminal Court, as well as economic unions like the EU, which Trump recently claimed was formed in order to screw the United States. On Friday, JD Vance criticized Denmark's level of investment in Greenland's security, arguing that Copenhagen must reassess its priorities as Trump continues pushing for control of the island. During his brief 3-hour visit to the space base in northern Greenland, where US troops are stationed, Vance was accompanied by his wife and senior American officials. The trip was ultimately scaled back after local backlash, as many Greenlanders and Danes were not consulted about the original itinerary. Our message to Denmark is straightforward. You have not adequately supported the people of Greenland, Vance claimed. There has been a lack of investment in both the population and the security infrastructure of this remarkable island, and that needs to change.
But recognizing that there are important security partnerships in the past does not mean that we can't have disagreements with allies in the present about how to preserve our shared security for the future. And that's what this is about. There is no amount of bullying, no amount of obfuscating, no amount of confusing the issue. Our message to Denmark is very simple. You have not done a good job by the people of Greenland. You have underinvested in the people of Greenland, and you have underinvested in the security architecture of this incredible, beautiful landmass filled with incredible people. That has to change. And because it hasn't changed, this is why President Trump's policy in Greenland is what it is.
Trump also shared a video on his Truth Social platform titled "America Stands with Greenland," featuring footage of US military activity on the island during World War II. While in Greenland, Vance stated that the US has no option but to establish a strong presence to ensure the island's security. He also encouraged Greenland to consider independence from Denmark, suggesting that such a move would lead to greater security and economic benefits through a partnership with the United States. However, Greenland's lawmakers and residents have largely opposed the Trump regime's efforts to assert influence over the island. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen rejected Vance's assertion that Denmark is neglecting Arctic defense, reaffirming that her country is a good and strong ally. Greenlandic politicians have also taken steps to push back against US threats. 4 of the 5 parties elected to Greenland's parliament earlier this month have formed a coalition, securing 23 out of 31 legislative seats in opposition to Trump's plans. Meanwhile, Danish King Frederik X addressed the situation in a Facebook post saying, "We live in a changed reality. My love for Greenland and my deep connection to its people remains strong." In Copenhagen, hundreds of demonstrators gathered outside the US Embassy on Saturday holding signs such as "Back Off USA." America's military presence in Greenland once included thousands of soldiers across 17 bases and installations. It's since declined to around 200 troops stationed in this remote Space Force base in the northwest. The 1951 agreement already provides ample opportunities for the US to expand its military presence in Greenland, Rasmussen said. "If that is what you want, let's discuss it." He also noted that Denmark has significantly increased its defense spending in the Arctic. In January, the Danish government committed 14.6 billion kroner towards Arctic security, including 3 new naval vessels, long-range drones, and satellite surveillance. This claim from JD Vance that Denmark is not doing a good enough job makes no sense and lacks all intellectual argument. I'm Anthony Davis. You can find me on the 5 Minute News YouTube channel and podcast, on Wednesdays co-hosting Uncovered, and on Sunday on The Weekend Show with MeidasTouch.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.